welcome back, Langwell.
Oh my God, just in time. Hello.
Yeah, he said great timing. We were just ranting about you. Honestly, you could have stuck around for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was a good 20 minutes of Ebert ranting because we loved Loki, so we didn't have much to say about it. So we talked about Ebert a bit. I am gonna change this just to say that. I don't know if we're actually gonna talk about much pop culture news today, but we'll put that as the thumbnail.
Yeah.
So welcome Thunder Lightning Podcast. I'm Thunder.
And I'm Lightning.
It's been a minute for the two of us. But Chris,
That's me.
how was your week? And feel free to talk about the last 2 to 3-ish weeks.
Yeah, sure. My weeks have been pretty good. The band played a hell of a show.
I heard about this.
Yeah.
I was not able to go because I was in Philadelphia, but I heard you rocked it.
Yeah, no, we a touring band asked us to do a show at the Middle East with them, and we did. It was maybe one of the best sets collectively we've ever done as a band, but also Logan, the bassist, who I've been in multiple bands with at this point for like 10 years, turned to me while we were on stage after the last song. He was like, I think that's one of the best times we've ever played.
Nice.
And I was like, yeah, I think you're right.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Did
no,
he
it
mean all of it or just this
I'm going to
band?
guess all of it, because even leading up to the show, he was like, this has been like a dream of mine to play here, and like I'm really excited it's happening.
Well, didn't we not play the Middle East?
No, we didn't. Set the Nation has, but it was before both you and him. Matt was still the singer
really?
in Set the Nation.
What was that one place? It's like a bigger venue. There wasn't much of an audience, and it was the only time you guys played that David Bowie song.
O'Brien's, I think, or something along the lines. It was across the street from the TD Garden, right?
I don't remember. I thought that was.
I know where you're talking about. It's not the Middle East.
Yeah.
It was just a bar, right? It was just a regular bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the Middle East is like a stage, and it's got
So
a
I've
Middle
never
Eastern
been
vibe
there.
to it. No,
Oh,
you've
okay.
never been. I've only played there twice.
Once with Matt at the Nation and once now.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Cool. Well, awesome.
Yeah, no, it was a really good time. We got one more to end the year at the Jungle.
And that's
So-
the 14th?
15th.
15th?
15th. It's a Friday.
Yes, and then 16th is D&D.
Yeah.
/ Christmas. Okay, yeah. For some reason in my head the 15th was
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
But it's that Friday.
Yeah. I've been doing
A
something.
week from today.
Yes. I've been doing something, and I haven't told you I've been doing this. I haven't told anybody I've been doing this except Pauline.
Okay.
And I want to pick your brain a bit. So, I don't read very much.
Sure.
Like for funsies.
Yeah.
And that's because of a traumatic story from when I was a kid I just realized recently.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want me to tell you that story before I tell you what I was going to say?
If you're comfortable sharing it and you want to talk about it.
When I was a kid, I used to read a lot. I'd go to the school library and I'd pick out books. I liked World War II books and I liked Star Wars, so I wanted to start trying to read Star Wars books.
There was a lot of those when we were a
There
kid.
was a lot of those when we were a kid, and I was like, damn, I got to be on this shit. I was, too.
Because the canon wasn't really a word thrown around back
No.
then.
Well, here's the thing, right? I go home,
Oh, no.
I play, I hate this story. Yeah. I go home, and I play Star Wars Bounty Hunter, right? And I'm like,
Great game.
not Bounty Hunter. I'm so sorry.
Oh.
Shadows of the Empire.
It's also a great game.
Shadows of the Empire. And I'm like, who the fuck are some of these people? Like,
Right.
IG-88 shows up in there.
Right.
And I asked my big cousin Matt, I'm like, where, the fuck? And I find out that there are these Star Wars books
Right.
that you got to read. So I want to pick one out, and I ask the librarian. I don't even ask. I just I'm like you would with any other book. I just go to check it out. This is at the school, and I'm in elementary school at this point.
Oh, okay.
I'm probably in like 4th grade at this point.
Okay.
And she's like, well, this is a 6th grade reading level. And I was like, oh, okay. I like Star Wars. I wanted to try to read it. She was like, okay, here's what we're going to do. My whole class is right there.
Wow.
Actually, some people have congregated because they also have questions for the librarian.
Right.
So she goes, I'm going to read a chapter to you. If you can understand and tell me, say back to me what this chapter's about, I'll let you take it out.
Okay.
So she starts, and there's some sci-fi bullshit in these books
Sure,
right
yeah.
off the bat, but also I'm just like self-conscious, and I'm like,
Right, you're not paying attention to her at this
not
point.
a word.
No.
There's people like just right here waiting to talk to her, and I'm just like, I didn't get a word. I didn't get. I was just like, I don't know. I don't know. I won't take it. And I stopped reading.
Weird. That's so. Why would she? Yeah.
Yes.
Why would she do that?
'Cause she sucked.
Because I had a similar situation with a librarian that ended the opposite way, where I was like, "Can I take out this book?" I think it was the 4th Harry Potter book. I was like, "Can I take out this book?" And she was basically like, "It's a higher level reading, and you're probably not going to finish it in the only week that you're going to have." And I was like, "I still want to rent it."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Okay," and she let me rent it.
Oh, what a normal. That was like, to me, that was like like if I had a what if. That was like the moment. But no, yeah, that memory, by the way, I don't think I repress memories a lot. That must have been one, because I was really thinking hard. I was like, I used to read.
Right.
And then I just didn't. And I couldn't remember
Right.
what. And it was that. So anyways.
No, that sounds like a textbook repressed memory.
Yeah.
Remembering the that it happened and that it doesn't happen anymore, but not remembering what happened.
I was with Pauline when I remembered too.
What a normal response a competent librarian would have.
I was with.
Yeah, my librarian was great. She was cool. She could not for the life of her pronounce my last name, but that's fine. I'm not holding that against her.
I was with her when I remembered this. I remember this like this year.
Yeah.
And I just had like a moment of like, oh my God. I know exactly when I stopped.
You're in one of 4 rooms in your house that is just wall-to-wall books because Pauline has so many books. And you're like, I get it. I just remembered.
But anyways, I'm not the fastest reader.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
I'm not a fast reader either.
Which
is a problem that like kind of bleeds into watching anime with subtitles.
Well, it's definitely been helping. Also, school's been helping. But I'm sick of not having read the Lord of the Rings or Hobbit books.
Oh, okay.
So I realized you can get them on Spotify.
Okay.
So I have been listening in the car by myself to all of The Hobbit. I completed The Hobbit.
Who's the narrator?
I forget.
Oh, okay.
For The Hobbit, because it was different for The Hobbit. Now it's different for the books. It's not Circus.
Anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I know he just did like all of the Lord of the
Rings.
Rings.
But it's not that version.
It's not that version.
Got it.
The Hobbit version that I'm doing right now. I mean, the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring that I'm listening to right now. Sounds like it was made in like the 80s. I don't hate it. The mic quality isn't bad, but every now and then there'll just be like a reprieve, and then some like poorly added like harpsichord music will play, and I'm like, oh, this is old.
Yeah.
I got a few things to say about our Lord and Savior J.R.R. Tolkien.
Sure. I remember in college I read up to the Riddles in the Dark part to get ready for the movie, because I heard that, and I had never read it before. And I remember getting through it pretty quickly, and then I was going to do that for the other parts, and then I didn't. That's my experience.
Oh, you were going to read up to where the movie is?
Yeah, because they were doing them each year. And then after that, I was like, when all the Hobbits come out, I'll just continue reading Lord of the Rings. Never did that.
My phone. Sorry.
Are we good? Yeah, we're still live. I think it's your phone.
We are still live. It's just my fucking phone for some reason. Because we were pausing on my phone, but we'll see what that brings. So I got through The Hobbit. Radagast not in the book.
No, those movies go off script like a bunch.
I know. Legolas isn't in it. like none of the fucking except for Elrond, like none of the fucking actually I don't even know if no Elrond is mentioned in the book.
Yeah.
What's her name isn't in the book.
Galadriel.
Yeah, she's
and
not in the book.
Saruman are both in the movie.
Right, not in the book. But I really thought they just made up Radagast, or is he in Lord of the Rings?
No. Radagast is, I believe, I could be wrong about this because, like I said, I have not read them like you are. But Radagast is who, you know, the scene where Gollum brings them to Mordor like super early, and he's like, "No, we can't. We gotta go back." Replace Gollum with Radagast.
Okay, so he's gonna show up in the Lord of the Rings.
I'm pretty sure, and if he doesn't, he's in the Silmarillion, because remember, there's like a fifth book of other stuff. That's
I'm
where
also gonna check that out.
Galadriel and Eldron's backstory is. That's where you find out about Durin's Bane.
That's what the Power of the Rings show is about. It's the Silmarillion.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. They should probably advertise that better.
Yes. No, that's exactly what the Silmarillion is. It's what I'm gonna guess is the first couple of chapters. Season 1 is the first couple of chapters of the Silmarillion.
Yeah. But yeah, they cut out Radagast the Brown and Tom Bombadil from the Lord of the Rings.
I just met so I'm on Fellowship right now.
Yeah.
I'm into chapter 7.
Yeah.
And I just met Tom. I just met Tom on my drive over to this house.
They meet Tom at chapter 7?
Okay.
How many fucking chapters in these books?
Okay, I have a few things I want to talk. I got a few things I want to talk about.
Okay, all right.
The Hobbit, very clean book.
Sure.
Start to finish. Also, I'm keeping the movies in mind.
Also, keep in mind it's the last one he wrote.
Oh, I thought The Hobbit came out first.
No, I'm pretty sure The Hobbit was written afterwards. I could be wrong. I'll look it up.
I'm not sure about that, but it was just such a clean book, start to finish. Now you come over to Lord of the Rings, right? And I'm on Fellowship, and I'm into chapter fucking 7. These assholes have barely left the Shire. There's so much bullshit.
Oh yeah.
In the Lord of the Rings, like that's what I mean by clean. By the way, is with all the shit that they added to the Hobbits movie, still pretty close 1-to-1 with the book. Like this happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened. They're fucking taking baths together and shit. Like fucking Frodo sells the bag end. He sells the hole, and he sells Bilbo's house.
Oh.
At the beginning of Fellowship, and there's this whole arc that they don't even talk about in the movie. Where, by the way, by the time Bilbo leaves, right? Like I put the ring on and fuck you and I'm gone. And by the time Gandalf comes back to tell Frodo that, keep it secret, keep it safe bullshit that isn't in the book so far.
Right.
Is 10 years.
Oh.
10 years go by.
Frodo has the ring 10 years before shit hits the fan?
Before Gandalf that night, Bilbo fucks off, and Gandalf that night is like, oh, there's some fucking bullshit with that ring. It takes 10 years in the book for that to happen.
So speaking of years, I was wildly incorrect. Lord of the Rings came out 54, and then 55, and it was a sequel to The Hobbit, which came out in 37.
Yeah,
The Hobbit
thought so.
also was apparently intended for children. Apparently, The Hobbit is a children's book, according to Tolkien, and the other ones are high fantasy adult novels.
That makes sense because, okay, you know what? That puts it a bit more into perspective why The Hobbit was such like an easy, quick deal, and I'm in chapter 5. By the way, I just the mass that these books are. Do you know how long the first chapter in The Hobbit is? I thought it was the whole fucking book. It's almost 2 hours it takes this dude to read through the first chapter of the Fellowship of the Ring. Almost 2 fucking hours. I'm into chapter 7. I'm 5 hours into reading this thing.
Oh my god.
Or listening to this thing.
Do you know that in 62 he released a collection of poetry called The Adventures of Tom Bombadil?
Yeah, yes. I've been doing my Lord of the Rings looking up.
I'm learning about all sorts of stuff.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to finish this book, and when I'm 42, I'm going to start reading the Harry Potter shit. And by reading it, I mean listening to it.
You gotta, if you're going to do that, you got to get the, what was that dude's name? The audiobooks that I listened to for Harry Potter as a kid were like iconic. Like the dude, my mom knows his name. It's Daniel something.
Okay.
He just
Radcliffe.
Yes. No. He just does all the voices, and his McGonagall voice is like will always be in my. He was also in. Hold on.
Yes, I did get to Tom Bombadil, and Pauline says The Hobbit was based on the stories Tolkien told his kids at bedtime.
Okay.
So that's cool.
The man's name is Jim Dale. His name's
Okay.
Jim Dale. He played the main villain in Pete's Dragon,
Gotcha.
and he audiobooked all of the Harry Potter books when I was a kid.
Old Farmer Maggot, by the way,
Yeah.
hugely important.
Oh yeah.
Such a big character. Like
Fascinating to me.
yes. Oh my god. The book. I've been doing some mental math in my head of like, okay, I'm fucking what's his name? The director.
Peter Jackson.
Yeah, I'm fucking Peter Jackson. And there's some bullshit in these first 7 fucking chapters of this book. He just cuts the fat so well.
Yeah. That's what it seems like.
Oh, and also, there's like 3 songs in every chapter, and this fucking dude's singing. He's ripping. He's trying his best. The dude who's doing the audiobook shit.
Oh, no.
He's trying.
Oh, no.
It's not bad. He's this old, like English guy, and he's got the the Victorian sounding accent, and he's perfect. He's setting the tone.
Cool.
And then but like these songs, I just tune out. I'm like, I get it. There was a song about bathwater. There's a song about bathwater in like chapter 6.
I do appreciate that every adaptation of The Hobbit, whether it be the old animated one or the new live action ones, they leave in the singing, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's nice. It's
But
just
there's
so
no
much.
song. There's exactly one song in Lord of the Rings, and it's at the very end when Pippin is like that guy's slave.
Yes.
He's John Noble's slave.
And it's so
he has
funny.
to sing about how ripe tomatoes are or whatever the fuck.
Well, it's so funny. Well, there's 2 songs. There's also them on the table, like dancing and singing in the Prancing Pony.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it,
Yeah.
but it really understates the amount these fucking hobbits sing. Like like they have hairy feet and they fucking sing. That's the 2 things you need to know about hobbits in these books. Jesus Christ.
It's so we've talked about this before, but I love how like I just love tracing back like what things, like for example, that game Sea of Stars that I talked about a few podcasts ago that came out this year is like only good because it has Chrono Trigger to thank, which in turn has Final Fantasy to thank, which in turn has D&D to thank, which in turn has
right.
Lord of the Rings to thank, which in turn has probably the Bible to thank.
Well, in mythologies.
Yeah, no, it's
Norse mythology for sure.
It's just I love shit like that. I was thinking about that the other day, and then you brought up Lord of the Rings. So it's your fault.
Oh, also, this dude doesn't know the word strange exists. He uses queer. I'd like a count of how many times this dude says queer, and I'd love...
Well, that was it back in the day, right? That was like the word
The word
use.
strange existed in the 40s. The word strange existed in the 40s. This
maybe
dude
they
made
had like different, like maybe strange means
maybe.
like daily, but queer means like it's high fantasy. So the
Yeah.
only way to describe it is the word queer.
Maybe. It's fascinating to me because he uses it so much. It's almost like if me and Pauline are writing a book, right? If she used a word that much, I'd be like, Pauline, you got to find another. You got to use something else to describe this so much. Anytime insert the word strange, weird, or scary, he uses queer.
That's interesting.
Constantly. And I'd love to like get a quote from it, but have it like, LGBTQ it and just have it be funny.
Yeah.
Like oh my god, there's so many instances where you could do that in these books so far. But yeah, I've been doing that.
Have you heard of I forget what it's called, but it's basically the tale of Huck Finn, but rewritten as the other kid whose name I forget. He's hanging around with a black kid.
Yeah.
Someone rewrote the book to replace the N word with the word robot. So it changes the entire context of the whole.
That's crazy.
because apparently they use the N-word a lot in
Yeah.
the Tales of Huckleberry Finn.
Yeah.
Sorry, the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. I have it literally right over there. Never read it. But
But yeah, there's some fucking bullshit going on in Lord of the Rings, and I
cool.
might keep us updated.
Yeah.
7 chapters. 7 chapters, and they haven't even made it to the
Out of the territory of
Yeah,
the
well,
Shire or
somebody
whatever.
he's very vague on that aspect too. For a map that's fucking like perfect,
Right.
he's very vague on where they are. They just ran into Tom
Mm-hmm.
and his wife, female friend, acquaintance, life partner
Yeah.
named Goldenberry.
Yes. Yeah.
And she says something to the effect of, "I've never known folk from the Shire to be ... And I was like, "We've left the Shire."
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was my understanding that Tom Bombadil was still on Shire property.
He's like right out. If he's not, he's like, "Here's the Shire. He's right here."
Yeah. Do you like, or have you ever played any of the Lego video games?
Lord of the Rings.
No, just in
Oh
general.
yeah.
So that was what I was going to bring up. Have you played Lego Lord of the Rings?
I haven't.
So it's rather old, but if you can get your hands on it, it's one of my favorite because the Star Wars Lego games, the first ones, it basically just had like a level select screen,
Yeah.
and then the overworlds got better and better until cut to the new Marvel one. You have the entirety of New York, similar to how Spider-Man does. But in that one, it's one map. It's the whole trilogy in one map. So like,
Oh, wow.
you literally like you're done with level 1, which let's say it's the Hobbit, the Hobbiton place. That's level 1. You have to like do some of the book. Like you walk through the thing and you get to and then like let's say level 2 is Tom Bombadil. You have to like, it's like, oh, did you have fun exploring the map? Stop for a minute. You have to do level 2. Then after level 2, you can explore more of the map until you get to level 3. And there's like stuff to do. Yeah, it was.
So could you theoretically, if you like get close to the game, could you walk from Mordor back to the Shire?
Oh yeah, I did it. I
cool.
believe there might have even been an achievement to do that.
That's cool.
Because I went out of my way to like, because there's obviously a fast travel option in the game, but I was like, I'm gonna literally do this. I'm gonna walk all the way there and all the way back.
Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you?
Because you have to like complete every level first, so you have complete access to the
Right.
map. But yeah, no, I remember really liking that game.
That's cool.
Allow me
Yeah.
to take the floor
And
while I
not-
talk about PAX Unplugged
Yeah,
2023.
You mean you want to talk about this? Wasn't our Lord of the Rings podcast?
It could be, but no. I went to PAX Unplugged 2023, and last year, people who listen to this podcast will remember, or maybe you don't. But last year, I was alone for PAX Unplugged. Basically, my coworker, like, literally as I'm boarding the plane, messages me like, "Hey, I'm sick. You're on your own. Bye." And then that con had its own list of problems that I had to deal with that I'm not going to get into because it's not important. So this con rolls around. It's like 3 days before. So, well, no. First of all, the story starts like 2 weeks before the con because they tried to pull me from this con so I could focus on customer service tickets during Black Friday. And I basically was like, please let me do this con. I could use the money. And they were like, okay, sure. But you have to do tickets while you're there, which I was like, oh, yeah, absolutely. So when I was at New York, when I was at Anime NYC, that's what I did. I would wake up. My 2 coworkers would go to the con. I'd hang back for a half hour, answer some emails. But a few days before the con, I get the news that both my coworkers who were supposed to be there with me got COVID again for the second year in a row. So we got last minute help from someone in the on the marketing team who was really cool. I won't say his name because he didn't ask to be outed, but he was very cool. And I'll talk about him later. But yeah, so it's just going to be me and him. I'm essentially going to be doing setup by myself, which, no offense to this guy, even if he was there for setup, would have been the case
I
too.
helped you set up.
No,
I worked with you.
Right, but you're not crippled like this dude is.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know that part. Sorry.
I was getting to it, yeah. He's
handicapped.
handicapped?
Yeah.
Oh, is it not okay to say?
Not really.
Oh, okay, my bad. I literally didn't know that. I'm so sorry. I will do that from now on. Yes. This guy's handicapped.
There's probably even a better word, but like that, if we're going levels wise, that one's definitely better.
Yeah. Well, he's not in a wheelchair. He walks with a cane.
Still.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for checking me on that. But yeah, so as nice as this dude was, he wasn't really going to be much help in setup anyways, which is fine. I've set up the booth by myself before. It's not that difficult. But so anyways, the con is on Friday. It's Friday to Sunday. Thursday is obviously when most of setup is going to happen. It's Wednesday. I get on a plane, and I get there around like 1. And I have a few things to check. And this is where I want to talk about the hotel staff at this hotel.
Oh, okay. I didn't think we were gonna. Yeah, fuck them up. Like you said, shit went down. It sounds like this whole trip is gonna be a shit show. Just as your friend, I'm like, I haven't heard the story yet.
Yes, yeah. I've specifically not told Chris most of the details about this story. So I want to cut in here in my own story and shout out the hotel staff. I've never actually named the hotel before, but I have to. These people were amazing. This is the best hotel staff I've ever dealt with.
Same as last year? Same hotel?
No, different hotel. This was the 4 Points by Sheraton on Arch Street in the heart of the Philadelphia city center. So that is the hotel I'm referring to. The hotel staff was so helpful, so nice. I had so many questions and requests that were out of the ordinary that they were just like, oh, absolutely, no worries. They were just the best. I'm going to figure out a way to give them a review or something because, my God, I've never felt this strongly about because I've had good hotel staffs before, and I've had just okay hotel staffs before. This one was like, this trip would not have gone as smoothly as it ended up going without their involvement.
That's cool.
So I show up. There's a problem with the credit card. They're trying to put it all on mine. They can't do that. I got to call my boss. This always happens at check-in. So I finally get up to my room, and I call my supervisor. And this is where we have the talk of like, so what is going on this weekend? What do I have to do? So I had a few things I had to do. A dolly, which if you don't know is something to make it easier to carry stuff. It has wheels and stuff. Is being sent to the hotel. That's step number 1. So I go downstairs. It's already there. Perfect. I have the dolly. I have to assemble it myself, which was weird, but I had it. All of the boxes, which contained the entire booth, 19 boxes, were at a UPS center. And because I was the only one there, I had to somehow get the boxes from the UPS center to the convention floor. So the plan was, and it's a terrible plan, but it's all we had. Because, for context, I don't have a driver's license. It's been a big boon on my life for the past 20 years or whatever, but I don't have a driver's license. And as much as I would love to fix that problem, there's no fixing it for this trip because I'm already in Philadelphia. So the plan is that the UPS center that all the boxes were at had super weird hours. They were open in the morning until 1 a.m., and then they closed until 5:30, and they were open 5:30 to 8:30.
Hold on, I got lost. They're open in the morning till 1 a.m.
Yeah. Sorry, until 1 p.m.
Oh,
that's my
okay.
They're open 8 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Gotcha.
They close until 5:30, so they close for 4.5 hours in the middle of the day for some reason, like a diner would.
So 1 a.m.
1 p.m.
I think you got your hours wrong still.
8 a.m.
Yeah.
in the morning
to 1 p.m.
To 1 p.m.
Close. Oh, open back up at 5 p.m. I see. Okay. Gotcha.
5:30 p.m. Open until 8:30 p.m. Close.
Sorry. Yes, I'm with you.
So they close like a diner would close.
Right. Yeah.
Which was very weird, and everyone agreed it was weird. So it's already too late for me to. I have to wait till 5:30. Mm-hmm. Right. So, this hotel, as good as it was, it didn't have Netflix or YouTube, so I'd watch television. I'm going to talk about.
Oh my God! Barbaric.
It's just a lot of ads, dude. And I'm going to talk about this in a minute. Remind me to roll back and talk about the TV I had to watch. So I had to wait till 5:30. 5:30 rolls around, and my supervisor and the coworker that's one of the coworkers that's sick that was supposed to be here. Basically, both text me like, hold on, don't go yet. We have to like figure some stuff out. So both of them are on the phone with UPS's like automated service or whatever, and I'm just like sitting here waiting, and it gets to the point where I'm like, it's getting pretty late. 7:30 rolls around, and I get an email from my supervisor or a text or whatever, and she's basically like, okay. So I talked to UPS. What I did was I emailed you a letter, and that letter you are going to have to print it up and bring it with you. And that letter is basically stating like, Anthony is cool to pick up these packages. Here's the name that's going to be on it. Here's the name of the company. This guy that you're talking to is named Anthony. He'll give you his ID. He can pick up the packages. So it's like a letter of authorization, right? He's whoever holds this hammer as the power of Thor.
Right.
Is the piece of paper I was holding. So I was like, okay, cool, great. I go there. So the goal, the idea, the plan, and it's not a great plan, but I was there willing to do it. The plan is to rent multiple Uber XLs and have them bring the boxes back to the hotel. And then the next day, I would wheel the boxes from the hotel to the convention center, which was right across the street, similar to how it was last year, if you remember. So it was not that, this wouldn't have been that big a deal at all. That was the plan. So, and keep in mind that Uber XLs are not meant for this. Uber XLs are meant for large parties of like 9 to 11 people. But what I was going to do, and I've done it before with my coworker, I was gonna make him close all the seats and shove a bunch of boxes in their stuff. And so I go to the UPS center and I'm talking to the guy, and I basically explained all of this to him. I was like, listen, I'm alone. I don't have a license, so I can't rent a U-Haul. This is happening. He was like, maybe you could do it later in the week. I was like, the thing's tomorrow. And I was just like explaining how shitty of a situation this was to this guy. So this guy gets to the point where he was like, okay, I have your name. I have the name that's on the box, which is my coworker Sean's name. I've talked about Sean before. So he was basically like, what I need is a piece of documentation with Sean's name on it and the address that these boxes are coming from. So I was like, okay, cool. So I go outside. I call Sean. I'm like, email me this. He's like, oh, okay, perfect. He emails it to me. No sooner do I hang up the phone, and this guy comes running outside, and he's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. There's a new policy. So new that this guy didn't even know about it. That in order to pick up boxes from UPS, you have to be the person whose name is on the box. So he was like, even though he has COVID, maybe he could come down. And I was like, he lives across the country.
Right.
And I was like, basically like, it was just like, so I was like, so this is not happening. He was like, no, Sean has to be here. I'm so sorry. I can't give you these boxes.
And that's the merch in there. Yeah?
That's the whole booth. Tables,
Wow.
merch, everything. Everything. Every piece of the booth. 19 boxes. Also, this guy, like, was very helpful, or at least trying to be, but he said something that I was like, okay, dude. He had one of the boxes with 2 tables in it, and he was like, listen, man, this one was 45 pounds. I don't know if you're going to be able to lift all of them. And I was like, okay, first of all, I've lifted this box that you're complaining about many times. Don't look at me and assume I'm not going to be able to lift the boxes, which made me a little like, whatever. But I wasn't going to fight him because I was in the middle of 9 other different things. So I call my supervisor, and I literally said this. I was like, hi, blank, excuse my French, but I just got the news that we're fucked. And I explained to her the whole situation, and she was very frustrated, not with me, but she was very frustrated because she told me that her UPS contact was the person who told her about the letter of authentication that I needed. So she was like, at this point, it's like 8:10, right? So she was like, just go back to the hotel. I'm going to make a few calls. That's where she left it, right? So I go back to the hotel. I call Sean. We're chatting about how much this sucks, and how this company could do a little more prep for things like this. I go to bed. I wake up at 7:30 in the morning, basically just to check my phone. My goal was to wake up every hour and check my phone, see what was up. And it got to the point where it was 10:30. I was like, okay, it's getting late in the day. Let me wake up. I text my supervisor, and I was like, hey, what's the what's going on? And she hits me with the hold on, let me check. And I was like, okay. So I wait like a good 10 minutes, And then she texts me back with, the stuff's at the convention center, go check. And I was like, okay. So I didn't question anything. I just went there. I went to the booth space, which I visited yesterday to check to see exactly where it was. So I went there. The boxes weren't there, which doesn't mean the boxes aren't there. So I went to exhibitor services, and I ran into a guy I recognized. I was like, oh, that guy was super helpful last year. Let me talk to him. And he was super helpful this year. So I was like, here's my booth number. Here's the company I work for. Are my boxes here? They're supposed to be here. And he basically told me, yes, they're here. We're going to bring them out sometime after lunch. So I was like, great. Perfect. Handicap coworker is coming around 1. I'll just wait for him, and then we can tackle setup together. So, yeah, long story short, they were there and everything was fine. But when he gave me that news, I called my supervisor, and I was like, what did you do? Like, the stuff is here. You were right. What did you do? And this is the most badass thing she's ever said. I'm now convinced that this woman is a wizard that sits in front of 9 computer screens. She says, I sent a very terse email. And she said, quote, the kind of email that you don't want to receive from me.
Damn.
So
to UPS?
Basically, this woman's emailing UPS corporate being like, if you don't give me my boxes right now and hand deliver them to my associate, I'm going to lose, not only is my company going to lose thousands of dollars, but we're going to sue you, is I assume the message she sent to UPS. So that was a lot. A very stressful Wednesday. After that, it was everything was con as usual. We set up the booth. We made more money than last year, but we were always going to do that because if you remember last year, I was not able to sell on Friday.
Yeah.
So 3 days is always going to make more money than 2 days. The issues that happened last year were so bizarre. This one was at least like, I understand what's happening. It's just fucking up, and I can't fix it. So yeah, after that, it was a great con. I love PAX Unplugged. I did a lot of Christmas shopping for the main people. I'm going to do a little bit more this week with my brother at the mall. But yeah. So after the debacle that was Wednesday, it was a great con, but it was not looking good on Wednesday. I was like, I think at this point, best case scenario, at least I have exhibitor badges, so I can go explore the con
at least be
at my leisure and still get free food because that's how these trips work. But yeah, that was a lot. I do want to talk about 2 things.
Sure.
Else with this con. One is very short. I had a con burger.
Oh, okay.
It was the best one I've ever had.
Yeah, I remember they had some. Was it at like the little concessions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like great.
Yeah, I remember they had good food last year.
And the next day I got a double, and it was like even better. It was like weird. I was like, this food isn't con good. This food is good. And I was like completely baffled by that.
Nice. Did you get a Philly cheesesteak?
No.
You've been to Philly twice.
I got one last time.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I thought you said you didn't.
No, I did.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I redacted.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no, I remember I got one from the same place you did, and I did the same thing you did. I had to walk there even though I Uber Eats'd it.
I do.
Yeah, I got it was like a pizza cheesecake or something. It was great. Didn't do that this year though because yeah. Anyways, I got to talk about the TV.
Sure.
Because I don't typically watch live TV.
Well, if you remember correctly, I think we both agreed. You would know more than me, but the TV from the hotel last year at PAX Unplugged was the worst one. Mm-hmm. Like the worst TV setup you can possibly have.
Oh no, this one was worse.
Wow.
Because this one didn't even have on demand. This one didn't even have a guide. It had a non-functional hotel channel, and it had a guide channel where if you go to the guide channel, there is a guide that we all know and love. It scrolls on its own very slowly. There's no way to interface with you can change channel and you can turn the volume up and down.
Could you get access to the
Didn't try.
Oh, okay.
The wires in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't try.
Well, that's important.
Too busy of a weekend to care, honestly. So, first day, I played a game called Guess What Movie This Is based on the first 2 actors I see. At the actual
oh no. Oh. Okay. I thought we're at a con full of games.
No. Fuck that.
Okay.
No. So the first movie I see Dan Aykroyd and I was like, okay. And then John Candy shows up, and I was like, hold on. So I Googled Dan
Was it 1942?
No.
Okay.
I Googled Dan Aykroyd and John Candy, and the first thing that comes up is the Blues Brothers movie. And I was like, that can't be what this is.
He's in it for a minute, John Candy.
Right,
yeah.
right. But I've never seen the Blues Brothers movie, so I was like, there's no way what I'm watching is that. Turns out it was a movie called The Great Outdoors, which is a 32 on Metacritic.
Yeah. I've seen that. I forgot.
So two comments on The Great Outdoors.
Yeah.
Number one, Dan Aykroyd, not a good actor. I don't think he's a good actor. I don't like Dan Aykroyd. Two, I never want to watch this movie ever again.
Okay.
Having seen most of it, because every fucking joke that involved John Candy was along the lines of, look at how fat he is. Look at how much food he can eat because of how fat he is. It's the whole fucking movie.
I don't remember that.
What a miserable filming experience that must have been for Mr. Candy.
You know, I'm sure he was crying into his pillow of money.
The next movie was super easy. I recognized it right away, but the first two actors I saw were Paul Rudd and Miguel. What is that dude's name?
Oh, so it was Ant-Man.
It was Ant-Man, yeah. It was Ant-Man 1, which I do like. I do like that movie. I feel like there was a time I didn't.
Are you promising yourself that, or you letting us know?
I'm just saying, like, when that movie came out, I was like, whatever. But, like, watching it a few times since then, I do like it. I think that the highlight is absolutely the Ant-Man v Falcon fight. It's just so cinematic and so comic booky. It's so good, dude. I don't remember it being that good, but it was really, really good. Yeah, and then I ended up catching a few episodes of a television show called Supernatural.
Oh.
Now, Supernatural, have you ever seen any of this show? A single fucking frame? Okay, me neither. Except for I did watch Scooby Natural, which is a crossover episode with Scooby-Doo, because of course I did. Supernatural is a 16-season-long television show, and I found out that I was watching the last episode of season 14 and then the first few episodes of season 15. Now, for a bit of context, these two dudes, Dean and the other one, they fight demons and hellspawn and ghosts and stuff like that. It's one of those shows. Based on that, who do you think is the main villain of season 15 of this show? For example, my mom gave a guess. Her guess was pretty good. It was wrong, but it was pretty good. She said Loki. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, what being, what character, what person do you think is the main villain of season 15 of a 16-season show?
Okay. And it's a nameable character. It's not like a race or something.
No, it's like what I'm looking for is
Loki.
Like Loki.
Okay.
Yes, something
like
that. Oh man, it's like a figure, a being.
Okay, I'll throw my ring in for the real life vampire. What's his fucking name?
Oh, Dracula. Oh, Bram Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah.
What a great guess. No, it was Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. What? He was the villain. He was the
main villain.
The antagonist.
15. Yeah, main antagonist.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Literally.
In season 14, there's a character who is Dean's son, but also
is it the Antichrist though?
No, it's Christ. It's Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Yeah. It's God. It's whatever you want to call him. There's a character, the main villain of season 14, is Dean's son, but it's also their mom. No, sorry, it's the demon that killed their mom, but it's also got their dad's soul in it.
Okay.
And Jesus shows up and he's like, "Hey, remember me?" And they're like, "Can you solve this problem?" And they're like,
"Remember me from the cross?"
From the cross and all that, from the bread and the water. He's like, "This will fix it," and he pulls out a gun. And me not realizing that this kid was all powerful was like, "Yeah, I'm sure that would solve most problems, but this gun doesn't work like most guns work. The way this gun works is when you shoot it at someone, instead of shooting a bullet, it kills them instantly, but it also kills the person holding the gun. So then the rest of the episode, Sam, that was his name, Sam. The rest of the episode, Sam and Dean argue about who's going to fire this gun, and then Dean's like, no, I have to do it because it's my son. That's the way he talks. And Jensen, his name is Jensen Ackles, the actor. He talks like that. He just voiced Batman in The Long Halloween or whatever.
Sounds like he'd be perfect for it.
Oh yeah, yeah. So the episode ends with him not being able to kill his own son, and then Jesus is like, "This isn't how it's supposed to go," and then he reveals himself as a villain. And then he's the villain for season 15. So that was fun, but also on the positive side of having to watch live TV. Watched a lot of Adult Swim.
Nice. Oh, so you finally got to see the bumpers.
Yeah, the new bumpers. There was one that it took me quite a few tries.
Were they funny?
One where
we don't watch TV anymore.
Oh,
we have all
sorry.
streaming services.
I thought you meant when they hide the Adult Swim logo.
Oh no, those are great. But they have like these little like between
the
two parentheses.
No, those were great. One of them got me. One of them was like a dialogue.
There's usually one really funny one.
Yeah. Well, no, but they it tricked me. Like it was a it was presented as a dialogue, and I was responding, and then they just totally. I forget what it was, but I just fell for the trap they were setting.
That's the one thing I miss. Honestly, one thing I miss about TV is the Where's Waldo Adult Swim thing.
Yeah.
And their little bumpers.
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
usually funny.
So you don't know about the Poof guy, do you?
No, I haven't watched Adult Swim in over a year.
Adult Swim does something that I wish they wouldn't do, where they have maybe 10 commercials and they just recycle them over and over again.
Did you see any Adult Swim commercials though? Sometimes they'll make commercials for people who endorse them. Like they had their own trailer for a few movies.
Oh no, I don't think I did.
They're funny. They're usually good.
No, but there's just this new it's not even a cleaner. It's an infomercial, and it's not a cleaner. It's just this thing to make the smell go away, and it's supposed to be super safe and very. The guy poofs his own mouth.
Oh
is
no!
What I'm trying to say. He looks like bargain bin Sean William Scott, and he's like, it's so safe. Look, and he goes, and he poofs
oh my God.
it right into his open mouth and nose, and it's just a ridiculous. And that was the moment where I was like, is this a fucking joke? But then it aired no shit, 30 more times over the whole weekend.
That might have been an Adult Swim commercial.
But the whole conceit of this product is not clean your house. It's just make the smell go away. And it got to the point where it's like, rub it on your dog, just spray it into the kitty litter. And it's like, no, clean your cat's litter. Don't just spray it. Oh, my cat pissed on the floor. All better. No, clean that, please. I was just like, yeah. But so I watched a bunch of Rick and Morty. I love Rick and Morty. The new voices are fine. They grew on me.
I bet I'm sure. Because we don't have cable, I haven't seen any of the new stuff.
It's fine. It took one episode for me to get used to it, and then I was like, oh, this is fine. And then they were showing episodes some old, some new, and I didn't even notice. And I think that has got to be really reassuring for the writers of that show, that this show can exist without Justin Roiland, because obviously there's still he got his super fans, but the show's pretty good. And the newest episode from when I was there, it was actually the first episode ever with no Rick in it. Not for any reason, just so happened to be.
Yeah.
But so what I wanted to talk about was I watched two shows that I normally don't. I watched a few episodes of King of the Hill.
Nice. What did you think?
I don't love it.
Pauline's in the middle of watching it for the first time.
I understand why people like it.
It's a very specific sense of humor.
Yeah. Wasn't for me.
Okay.
I enjoyed the episodes I was watching. I don't think I'll pursue watching anymore, but I'm not sitting here like it was a garbage show. I totally get
you
why
understand
people
the
like
whole
that.
thing satire, right?
Yes,
okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It was the episode, one of the episodes was about I don't know character names, I'm sorry,
That's
but
okay.
one of these characters clearly cheated on someone else, and it's like
male or female.
It was a Native American character.
Yes.
And he was like,
his name's John Redcorn.
Yeah, and the son of the one who's like a real hillbilly is clearly his son.
Yes.
Yeah. It was just focused around that. And then I watched a few episodes of Bob's Burgers.
Nice.
Which I don't have anything against. I've just never seen it. And I share the same sentiment that I think I always have about Bob's Burgers. I like watching it. Not a lot of laughing, which is fine. Like, compared to American Dad, I feel like I'm laughing most of the time. And when I'm watching Bob's Burgers, I'm enjoying it, but I'm not laughing too often. But then there's a joke that'll just really hit.
Oh, yeah.
There was this one, I laughed for way too long, but there was this joke where it's the episode where Bob is hanging out. He's trying to buy a new mattress, so he gets in good with, like, the queen of mattresses or whatever.
It's a good
So they're at
episode.
dinner, and he's like, could someone pass the napkins? And Gene, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Gene is like, napkins? You mean the paper towel roll? And he's like, yeah, just pass the paper towel roll. And Gene is like, oh, so all of a sudden you're hanging out with the queen of napkins and you're too fancy for the paper towel roll. And then Gene was like, anyway, someone kicked it down the stairs. And Bob was like, what? Louise, did you do that? And Louise was like, do what? And he was like, kick the paper towel roll down the stairs. And she was like, yeah, of course I kicked the paper towel roll down the stairs. It's a paper towel roll. And I just, like, lost it. I was like, that's so funny.
Yeah, that's what that show does. Like, I everything you just said, that's the show. It has, for a TV show, an adult cartoon, it has good plot lines, and then every now and then it's just like they nail it.
Yeah. You can also tell that Jimmy Jr. is voiced by the guy who voices Bob.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's one of those jokes you just reminded me of one. There's one where it's a Christmas episode.
Okay.
And it's a hard cut to oh my god, Teddy. If you know Teddy, he's the bald friend, kind of pudgy.
Yeah.
And he's driving his car.
Oh, this is my favorite clip.
Yeah.
You showed me this. This
Yeah,
is my
yeah,
favorite
yeah,
clip
yeah.
from this show. I laughed for weeks about that when you showed me that. In context, out of context, it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
He's just like, I wish my radio worked.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's so that character too,
Yeah,
which is great.
No, it was perfect.
My new favorite character, I believe her name is Becky.
Oh,
She's the like popular girl who like has
It's not-
another popular girl with her. That person's name is Tammy.
Oh, you like, I thought you were trying to say Tammy. You like the friend.
Hold on.
It's not Becky. It's like that though. I really thought you were describing Tammy, but you're not.
I think I am. Hold on, let me find it real quick.
Well, is Tammy like the most popular girl?
It's Tammy. Sorry, I am talking about Tammy. It's she's voiced by Jenny Slate, who is absolutely hilarious. If you remember, Jenny Slate does Marcel the Shell with shoes on
Yes.
or whatever it's called. Jenny Slate's also, if you remember that one Drunk History where she's like,
Oh,
this
I
is
know
my
Jenny
dog's
Slate.
balls. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's the voice of Tammy.
Yes.
And I did not realize that, and she's just like so funny.
So Tammy's your favorite.
What's the other one?
Oh my god.
What's Tammy's friend? Phoebe, maybe?
No, it's not.
But Tammy's the main one.
Tammy is the main one. Shit. You could easily Google that.
Yeah, I'm trying, but it was the episode where there was an outbreak of lice, but it wasn't really lice because the nurse voiced by Samantha Bee didn't bring her glasses in, so she saw dandruff.
Yes. What about it?
That was the episode that heavily featured Tammy,
Oh,
and I was like, this character is great and always funny.
Jocelyn.
Jocelyn, yes,
Jocelyn.
Jocelyn is the friend. Yeah, they get into like a yelling match over who's gonna announce the news, and it's just like, I hate you, I'm supposed to do the news. Oh my god, you're the best. Oh, I love you too. And then they just start hugging. I was like, what happened? That was so quick. It was like as quick as what I just said.
Yeah, it's you should do you have Hulu?
I'm sure I do.
You should watch Bob's Burgers, even if you just have it on in the background while you're working or something. Like it's a good show.
Yeah. No, it seems it. And that this is the one thing, and we did talk a long time, so we're gonna have to wrap up soon.
Yeah.
But I did want to close out talking about Bob's Burgers with this, and I realized something about Bob's Burgers, and I think it brought it from I understand why people like this too, and I also like watching this. When you watch Family Guy, specifically Family Guy, but like this also happens in American Dad, and it sort of happens in Rick and Morty and stuff like that. You watch these shows and you observe these families, and they just seem like characters, and that's why it's so easy to be like, oh, this is a Meg episode, this is a Lois episode, because they're just characters. But the Bob's Burger family feels like a family.
Yeah.
Like when one person has a major like a plot issue, it becomes the whole family's issue. You can tell that even though Bob is doing like, I don't know, it's trying to stop the guy in front of the burger shop from selling flyers on his street, he's also concerned with what Louise is doing in the A plot or whatever. It's just you can tell that they're a family, which I really appreciated.
That's what sets Bob's Burgers apart from the rest of those shows, is the sense of realism. There's the comedy in the sense of realism, just really just right side.
Yeah, which is almost the opposite of the way, like, I know Rick and Morty has all its science and stuff, and it tries to do everything by the book scientifically, but like when you look at McFarlane shows, it's just like by the end of the episode, it's like, oh, Steve has no arms, and the fish just died, and the CIA just exploded, and it's like the next episode everything's fine, and it's completely unrelated. But like if that happened in Bob's Burgers, I'd be like shocked.
Oh yeah,
I'd be like, what are they doing?
Well, that's what's interesting about the movie. I'm not gonna spoil anything about the movie.
Okay.
But the movie, like, the movie happens, and then that season, like,
oh, you were telling me this. Yeah, the following season is like about what happened during the movie, right?
Not necessarily about it, but it's definitely like canonically the movie happened,
right?
Yeah, which is neat.
Which the same cannot be said about The Simpsons, right? Isn't The Simpsons movie like notoriously non-canonical?
Well, the next episode, I think they did like a little spoof in the intro.
Oh, okay.
Like, cause I can spoil that. It's like a 20-year-old movie,
right? That I have seen many times.
Yeah, the house gets destroyed in the intro to like that season. I think they're building the house.
Oh, okay, all right. Oh, okay, that's fine. I mean, there's even something to be said about the canonicalness of those intros anyways.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's going to do it for us. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe.
Our channel has daily uploads from podcast video essays, Let's Plays to skits.
Be sure to watch on Twitch. We stream all our video game and podcast content live at 5 EST every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday.
Our intro is by Brad Kendrick and music by Froggy and the Friendship. Link to all that in the description below.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.